If you're not comfortable working with plumbing, I'd advise you to call a professional or somebody that knows what they're doing to help you. I'm supposed to change this out. This is like a special, I don't know what kind of is this one, but this one I'm going to change it out with like a regular ball one. Then you got this. This is like bicycle style. It's just a cable thing or air, however you want to describe it. But I want to get it out. And see, the thing is, that's weird because this just spins off like that. And then I think, because I want to get the long rod to come in the back to control the ball. And now this is like that. So I'm thinking I can somehow unscrew it, which I'm going to try to do. I don't know if you can see that in here or not. It's like that. It's just like a black piece. I think on the end of it, there's a place where I can put a pair of pliers and kind of, you know what I mean? Because I need that hole to be free so I can stick that rod in there. And then I'm going to change all this out. I'm going to change all that out to this one. This. I think they're all pretty much the same size. So, I like to use Corky or Everlast, but I guess this will work. Just in case your pipes don't line up the way they should. You know, you got a little bit more play. But you always have to make sure that P-trap is there. Because the P-trap traps water. So gases don't get past that water that stands in there. And you don't have a gas leak. Methane in your house. So I'm going to try to go under there and loosen it up. I already got the top loosened up. So the top's out. So there's a little thing right there where I can put these in and kind of just like wiggle that loose. Hopefully that works, or I'm just going to have to replace the faucet as well. So I'm not able to get this piece out right here. It's not coming willingly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to buy 2 new lines, because this is able to be replaced. The lines are able to be replaced from here to there. So I'm going to get a 1/2 inch to 3/8, and this is 12 inches long. So I'm going to buy 2 of them, and I'm going to take this apart. But see, I always, if you're going to take these apart, I always like to replace these, because the washers tend to get warped. And once you break that seal, you know, the salt and everything tends to come unwarped, and then it never reseals correctly. So you can always have a leak. I just like to be safe than sorry, and I just like to do all my jobs like this, so I never have a problem. So I'm going to take these water lines off so I can take the faucet out, and maybe I can unscrew that better. Maybe that's what they did when they installed this, I would guess. And then I'll replace this piece right here with this that I have, and I'll show you guys the process, and I'll try to break it down as good as I can, piece by piece, so you could skip through the video if you choose to. So let me unloosen this really quick like that. So I would really have to take that off so I can take them black nuts off and they will come out so I can actually take the whole faucet out. So let me do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so I undid the top. I'm not going to worry about the bottom just yet, but eventually I'm gonna undo the bottom so I can put two new water lines in. But make sure you have like a bucket or a towel is better. Unless you have a lot of water, then you want to have a bucket. But now I want to unscrew these black pieces like I had them. And they're already unscrewed. Really, they're loose. So now I can take them off. And that way I can lift the whole thing through. And then I can have better access to this because I have less bite on this side. So that's why I had to go through extremes. So now that I have the faucet out, you know, I have more bite. That it's universal, so we'll see. I'll do some righty-tighty and some lefty-loosey, try to loosen it up. So always from the top. Right, the top left is loose and then right is tight from the top. So I'm going to try to do that and then the hole will be free. And then I'll be able to put this long rod that's inside here. I'll show you after I get this undone. Okay, so I was right. And this is, I don't know that it's a twisty, or it seemed like it loosened up, but it might be just plastic. So I didn't want to risk breaking anything and this little piece would be stuck in there. So that's why I went to the extreme of taking everything apart, and now it's apart. So now the hole is free, so I can put the rod down there. And I already got started on this. So that's out. And I gotta put some tape dope on this assembly because it does not have one of them washers at the top like other ones that I do have. I think newer ones, they're making washers for the top as well. And I didn't use no tape putty. No, I mean, it's plumber's putty, it's called. I didn't use none of that on another application, but this application I'm going to have to. See, this is the rod right here. This is what I'm talking about. That goes through here. And that wouldn't go through there like that because the other thing was screwed in. So, yeah. So, this piece, this had it too, but see, this was from the bottom, screwed in from the bottom, and this was screwed in from the top. So make sure, I don't know if I showed that in the beginning of the video, make sure you unscrew this out of the top first beforehand, because see, that's stuck, and then this goes like that. And it goes like that. But you have to take this out so you can take this out. It's two separate pieces. So now that that's gone, I'm going to reinstall this when I get the water lines. But first, I don't have the water lines, so I'm going to take this off right here. That way I have new water lines coming that I can put in. And then I'm just going to take this off right here from the middle. You know, right there. So that comes out. That comes out. So this comes out right there. And as you can see, this has a washer, you know? So they didn't have no putty in here, but that's okay because I'm gonna put some putty in this new one. So that's the old style. And this is longer. It has this like straw looking effect. So I think I might do away with this piece and just pop this on the drain itself. Pop this on the drain itself like that, because I can take this down, like I can extend it. So I'm going to extend it that way, and I'm going to possibly clean this up and throw it in my van just in case I need something, or I could just throw it away. Normally I keep it with me for a couple days before I throw it away, because I run to Home Depot for everything anyway, so it's not really worth it to carry around the extra weight. So I'm going to take this off along with the washer, and I'm going to put it on here. And then I'm going to feed everything through. But first of all, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. All right, so I did this. I took that off the previous pipe. You know, see, the nut hole is bigger than the pipe. But apparently they sell washers big enough to compensate everything, so you can fit it inside the bigger pipe. See, I didn't know that. I'm learning too. So they're making all kinds of stuff nowadays. You know, everything's different part of a store. Same store, but different parts. Because some stuff is like this, and then other stuff is like this. You can glue 2-inch. And then it like, these don't work together, but they sell pieces like that to make them work together. If you can understand that. But I got 2 water lines now, so I'm going to finish this just to show that first. So I'm just going to put this back up, reverse the process, put these back on, and tighten them down so that's not moving. But first, before I do anything, I want to put the... Well, actually, I can't do that, can I? Because I have to tighten these down first. So these have to be on first. So the faucet has to be, you have to do it in order. So I'm going to put these on, and then I'm going to put the hoses back on. So I'm under the sink, and it doesn't matter if it's dirty or not. Just make sure the lip is no frayeds or nothing. But make sure the washers are in here, and just screw it up, finger tight. You don't want to use a wrench until you finger tighten it, because you might cross threads and that can cause it to leak as well. So finger tight until it's really tight, and then snug it up. Not super snug, but just snug it up to where you can't use a little bit of muscle anymore. And so righty-tighty from the top. Righty-tighty, so this way we'll be loosening it. And the same goes for this. You know, you just go like that, but I have to hold it straight because this hose is pretty tough. So I'm going to tighten this up and then tighten this up, and then we'll start on the drain, just so it's not too confusing. So I already started this one because it was tight. So what you want to do is kind of maneuver it so it's straight, and then kind of wiggle this, play with that while you're fingering tighten this, just so you don't cross thread it. And you know, you don't want to cross thread it, so kind of wiggle that around and kind of finger tighten it as tight as you can get it. But this, I kind of have to hold it because look how it's hard. I don't want to cross thread it. So make sure it's clean and then put it on, then tighten it up as much as tight is. I'm not weak, but you can definitely over tighten these and rip up the washer. So, but it's not easy to do. But yeah, and then I'll do that, and then we'll start on I'll show you how to apply the tape, the putty. And you want to check this, make sure there's no like indentions or anything, because I don't use tape, I don't use putty, plumber's putty on the bottom. But if there's like, say right here is a little indention, sometimes the rubber washer won't mold to that, so you have to put, along with the washer, you put plumber's putty. So I did it up and I checked for any leaks, and the faucet was open. So don't make the same mistake I did. Close the faucet because water got everywhere, and now my towels are wet, so I can't really use that again unless it dries a little bit. So what it is now, you turn it on, and that way you do this first. That way you can check, you can have it, it's under pressure right now, you know? So you can make sure that it's not leaking later. So it's better to have this open now so you can make sure nothing is leaking and everything is good. Because by the time I finish this, if this is still dry and not leaking, then it's not going to be leaking, obviously, right? So now that that's done, I'm going to, see this disconnects right here. Actually, this comes off up here because everything, this all can't fit through that little hole. So some of them are different and some of them fit through the hole. Everything is nice. All of them are different. So if you choose to buy this particular brand and model, I don't know what kind of brand this is. This is Flex and Fix. So if you choose to buy this one, you know, that's going to be like this. So you take this off, you pop this up here, right? And this, because this is down here, pop this one a little bit better. Then I'm gonna be ripping this down like that in a minute. But you put this in here, then you pop this up here, right, like that, and then you drop this down here, and then this is going to screw in on top. But first, I'm going to use plumber's putty. So the way I did this was, if I can get that to go like that, just did like this, you know, and kind of made that type deal happen. And then this is the piece I took off the top. So first of all, you're going to want to take off the plastic, because I don't know if it'd be easier or harder to take off later. And besides, it was wrapped around the bottom, so I didn't want that to compromise this. So what you want to do is go like that, take the excess off, And then you want to put this on as tight as you can get it on here, because later on you're going to be tightening this up down here. So that's the finished product. I had extended it so it could at least go in the pipe this long. And then I'll clean that putty off, save that. That's mine. And now I'm just putting in a stopper. Put this inside the hole. Here, this is why I did this. I had to open this up so much in the first place. That goes in there. And then this comes untightened. And this does not get any putty or dough. So this is the ball. So what this wants to do is this wants to come off like that. And that wants to be in the back like this. And then it wants to go in like that. But first, before you tighten this down super tight, you want to put this in. You know, you want the rod inside of there to catch this. So the rod that's inside of here to catch this. So this is stuck inside. You can't lift this out. So now I want to put this on here to extend to that. So I'm going to put this in there like this, and then at least to reach one of these holes. That way when it's down, I can even put this on first, you know, right here. Make sure this is up, because when pull this up, you know, you got to make sure that that doesn't hit that. So it's probably this hole right here. You got that, you got this hole right here. But first, you want to put this hole in first like that. And then you want to put this in. And then you want to put this in behind it so it doesn't slide out. Like that. And then what I want to do is tighten this up right here. Probably put my Frenches on here so it's tightened. And then that's it. So the way I put this, kept this down and put this up there just so when I pull it, it'll stop. And when I push it, it'll open. Pull it, stop, open. And then I want to save this for my next application. And we're just going to check everything. Make sure nothing leaks. Yeah, the water's not leaking, I know. You see that? Another thing I want to do is fill it up and let it drain through this hole and make sure that this is draining properly. Not all sinks have a hole like this, but the drain has the option if the sink has a hole like this so it can drain through the middle. I didn't show these guys the hole, but there's a hole. There was a hole in that pipe. So I'm going to fill it up, test it out. Make sure that this isn't leaking. And just to give it the full force of water to make sure nothing's leaking. You know, make sure everything's tight, but this stuff is plastic. So nothing's leaking, so that's not leaking. I never have a problem with my jobs unless they're from, I don't know, overseas and has like some weird mechanism, like a screen inside. Sometimes the screen buckles up and that's why it leaks. because the screen gets in the way of the washer. But other than that, no, never have a problem. So see how it's up, now it's stopped. It's up, now it's stopped. And that seems to be draining. I can hear it. If you can hear it, just to make sure nothing's leaking here. And see, that's up, so that's up. If I push down, it'll bring it down. Yep, no leaking. Job well done.